What's up, guys? I'm Tyler Hosley, and Robo Patriot recognizes dumbass bitch.
Hi, I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and this week, it's coming to the end of spooky season. We're still enjoying ourselves. I might even make Tyler smile this evening. I might.
Ooh. I'm Dave Gray, and this week I learned that I can watch movies starring Reanimator lead. I just brain farted. Ha! Jeffrey Combs again. Like I kind of knew it like in the back of my head, but I'd forgotten. So
Oh,
that's
didn't one of your pets used to freak out every time he was on?
Yes, my dog Phineas hated Jeffrey Combs. The first Halloween I had him, and he was just about a year old. I watched the Masters of Horror, The Black Cat with Jeffrey Combs, and now it's not like a graphic episode, but there's a lot of cat screaming, and it traumatized him. So every time he heard Jeffrey Combs' voice, and didn't matter in what, or saw Jeffrey Combs, he barked aggressively. The only person Finn hated was Jeffrey Combs, and poor Finn passed away back on Mother's Day, and I happened to just watch a Jeffrey Combs movie this week, and there was no threatening freak out. So that was fun. And this is Raiders of the Podcast. That Jeffrey Combs movie I watched was actually I watched two this week because once I realized that I could do it, I kind of embraced watching Jeffrey Combs stuff. Watched a couple Star Trek episodes he's in that I had to skip before. It's really good. Anyway, so what we checked out was Reanimator, of course, which we've covered here on the podcast, which is fantastic. And we saw something newer called Lily Lives Alone, which is about a guilt-ridden mother plunging into madness. It's directed and written by I'm trying to remember what else he's done. He's done a couple other things, but I think mostly shorts. He did a short called Mickey the Leaf a few years ago, which I saw at a festival that I remember being okay, but I could be misremembering. But anyway, Lily Lives Alone was okay. It was okay. It had some nice shots. The cast was fine. The screenplay was a little rough, but Shannon Beebe played the lead, and she's popped up in a couple things lately, and she was fine. She was in the Goosebumps TV series from when was that? Was that this year? Last year?
Not the one with David Schwimmer?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was last year.
Yeah, okay. So she pops up, she popped up in the Goosebumps series from last year then. And she popped up in a couple episodes of Orange is the New Black, I think. This is just off the top of my head. And it was, it was fine. It was, like, when you watch a movie and it's like a solid 5 out of 10 and you don't really have much to say because it's just kind of there. That was this movie. It was just it was fine. It was just kind of there. Didn't hate it, didn't like it, just there. You know what? There were some neat effects though. Like some there was a womb effect that was actually kind of cool. And that's like all I can say about it. Now that I think it, like I'm really struggling to be like positive here because I want small filmmakers to do well, but yeah, that's all I got to say about that. And I watched a couple of alternate versions of Ghost of Yostuya, but I'm gonna not comment on them at the moment. But I did watch some other stuff with onryos. I watched some because earlier this year I watched Ringu. I started. Did I start? Yeah, I started my October with Ringu. So I watched the sequels, the Japanese sequels, and they're God, what's a good way? How's a good way to phrase this? They're not good. They're just not good. I didn't, I don't hate any of. Well, maybe hates. I don't really dislike any of them a lot, but none of them grab me. It's one of those ones where I really like the first one. I think the first one is excellent, and all the others are just kind of. They don't really get how it, why it worked. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Ring 2 is probably the worst one. I fell asleep during it. Maybe I do hate it, and I just can't remember because I passed out.
Is Ring
Uh,
2 the one with the deers attacking?
no, that's isn't that the other one, Spiral? Because there were two Ring 2s.
Oh, okay. I barely remember the sequels as much.
What I remember about Ring 2 is when it was released here in the UK, I think it was the Tartan Asia label again. It has a lot of white backgrounds. I think a lot of it's set
Yeah.
in the hospital, is that right?
Yes.
And they still had just the white burnt in subtitles. So that was a fun read.
Mhm.
Oh God, I bet that was. Oh man, that
It
just
was
sounds
yeah,
terrible.
it was a really bad
Uh,
way to try and watch it and decipher any of the conversations, which
nice.
thankfully it's been a bit better treated nowadays.
I actually like Spiral a lot more than Ring 2. I don't think it's, and again, I don't think Spiral is great, but it's a much better movie than Ring 2. It gives it a little gonzo, and it's better made, better acted. It's just a better sequel all around. Um, Ring Zero, also called is it Birthday? Ring Zero Birthday, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that one's it's okay. It's okay. Well, Birthday is the fourth book in the series, and I haven't read the books. But Birthday is the fourth book, but Birthday is short stories. So they get kind of merged into one story for the movie. And it works okay enough, you know? I mean, it's not the worst one. It's not the best. It's just it kind of flirts with techno horror, but it doesn't really stick it. It's just kind of there. It's fine. Uh what's the Oh, and then I watched Sadako 3D, and that's based on still one of the novels S, which I think is the sixth novel. I could be wrong. It might be the fifth, but I think it's the sixth book. And I I kind of enjoy Sadako 3D more than I do most of the other sequels. It's not like good, which I've said that about all of them. It's not good, but I got to watch it on 3D in 3D using my projector, and I enjoyed that. It's dumb as hell, but I enjoyed the 3D. My bar is low. That was me.
Okay. I really haven't got a lot of other stuff watched this week. But when I say that, I mean stuff that's relevant to us because I'm listening to on our podcast that's doing the journey through the wonderful Carry On movies. I've been revisiting some of those and reading. I have a book called The Carry On Companion. I think it's the Carry On Companion that I picked up secondhand a few years ago. So I've been reading through that as well. So I've been reading a book, Dave, another book, even though it's not one you would rush to recommend to me. And it is fun to recognise what these movies were doing and how they captured the hearts and funny bones of the nation for a while, despite or because of what else is going on in the world. So I'm up to at the moment Carry On Jack, which I think it's just number 5 or 6 in the series. I finished season 3 of The White Lotus, so a bit of TV was something I made time for because I'm a completist, and that was alright. And then 2 main films. So, well, I'm not sure if I mentioned to you guys last week. Had I already watched Nobody Sleeps in the Woods tonight?
Yeah, I think you had.
Yeah, yes, you did. I do remember that.
Which was okay. I guess it was just okay. But I knew there was a second one on Netflix, so the whole point was I would finally watch first, and I would get to the second one. Yeah. Like, I'm not sure. I think I wouldn't say I had a good time with it, but it's certainly, I think, a more interesting and strange film. So I think I liked it a bit more than the first, although I also don't think it's entirely successful with what it's trying to do. But at least it is trying to do something, a bit more different. Still following on from what is set up in the first film, but taking things to a slightly, other level. So yeah, that was good. I'm glad I watched the second or part 2, I guess, as it follows on immediately from the first, and I think I slightly prefer it to the first. Then I watched Other, which was another film that was on Shudder, and I saw this was quite a new one on there, and I saw that it starred Olga Kurylenko, and I'm a fan of Olga Kurylenko, even though I probably still don't say her name quite right. But I thought, I'll give this a go. She's in it. I like her. It's directed by David Moreau, who did Eels, I think, them, back in the early 2000s, and wrote and directed Mads, which I really liked, which I saw on Shudder. That might have just been last year. But Other, I thought was really bad. I'm not going to give anything away, but a lot of the film rests on Kurylenko's shoulders, and she's not given enough good stuff to work with, and the ending is one of those where they obviously think they're like delivering this great kind of trick, and it's not. Have either of you two made time for that yet? I know it's quite new on there.
I have not.
No, that's on my list for this weekend if I can find time, though.
Okay. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. I don't think they'll be positive thoughts, Dave. But maybe it'll work for other people much more than it worked for me. There was almost nothing in this that really succeeded in the way they obviously wanted it to. So that was unfortunate. And then actually, I did squeeze in another one this week, a Jean Rollin, one of the better ones, not one of the ones that you would pick for my Jean Rollin special and screw me over, you sons of bitches. I watched The Iron Rose, and The Iron Rose is a really nice, dreamy, atmospheric Jean Rollin movie. Surprise, surprise. There are people in it that become obsessed to a distracting degree by the thought of death and death around them. This is a couple that wander into a cemetery and then can't really find their way out straight away. But it was really good. I think if you like genre in movies in that mold, it's going to win you over. It doesn't have vampires in it or Brigitte Lahaye, but it is otherwise very much in his comfort zone, and he's working really well with what he's doing, just maintaining the mood and just dragging us out for I want to say it was 90 minutes or maybe just under 90 minutes, but it just has that mood and atmosphere throughout that I really enjoyed. I liked it, and I kind of want to dig around in the extra features because I've got these nice shiny Jean discs and rarely make time to dig around in the extra features. I'm letting myself down, and that is me.
I watched a couple classics this week. I watched the OG Blair Witch Project once again. That movie is a masterpiece. We talked about it on here. Fucking love Blair Witch. I watched Blair Witch 2, which is, for me, one of the most underappreciated horror sequels ever. I will defend that movie fucking forever. I love Blair Witch 2. And I watched the OG Scream, which is an absolute classic. Again, we talked about that on here as well. That movie is just everybody firing on all cylinders. Craven, the cast, Williamson, just a perfect slasher satire. That movie is just incredible. I love Scream. But besides that,
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. I also watched Scream. My bad.
hey, you were supposed to go see it in the theater, right? And then something came up.
I was, and then something came up, so
Yeah.
I did a streaming group watch with some people I know this weekend. So
Yeah,
last
Scream.
weekend.
Scream is a
I
classic.
mean, I remember that Tyler's a child, but did either of you see it in the cinema when it first came out?
I did. I did. I mean, I was still a child, but yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
Scream 2. I saw Scream 2 in the theater. I didn't see Scream 1.
I didn't see Scream because I did, and I agree with the general love for Scream, and it's a favorite of mine. But it's funny because when I think about seeing it at the cinema, I think I was impressed enough by the time I left the cinema, but it's only sort of grown in my own mind since then, and kind of like every time I rewatch it. Do you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
came away absolutely positive that that was great and I loved it, but then I don't know whether it's just because it's so much fun every time I rewatch it, or because over time it's maintained that real sort of keystone place in modern horror as well. But yeah, it was a great cinema trip.
Well, it came out. It came out right before Christmas. So I went with my sister to see it for a birthday movie. Uh, like I don't know, the weekend after it came out, before it had
Nice.
exploded. Yeah.
I think I saw it like as it was exploding, but I just passed my driving test and I was staying down south in the little country areas. So my mate and I went, but on your driving test, they don't teach you the finesse that you need when you are finally going through your first like McDonald's drive through. So we're doing that, and I'm a nervous driver, and I realize, yeah, I'm now about 6 feet away from the window to get my order. I'm basically shouting at the server, just pass me the bag. I just want my burgers. I want to look like I know how to drive. And there was all of these complex driving emotions as well. They should teach that thing on your driving test. Here's your test. You've passed. Now let's do a drive-through so you can pick up your burgers. That's all I'm saying. That's what they should do.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen the original in the theater. I was pretty young when the first one came out. I was barely 7, but I did go see Scream. I did go see Scream 2 though. Like I was dying to see Scream 2 because I saw Scream 1 on VHS, and VHS came out like almost right before the 2 came out in the theater,
Mm.
and I just remember my I used to go stay at my grandparents on the weekends, and my dad's sister lived at the house there, and she used to take me to a movie like every Saturday, every time I went there. And I remember going to the theater, and it was she was like, is it okay if I take you to this? Your parents don't care." I'm like, "My parents don't care." But she was like, "I should be taking you to see like Flubber or something," because I think Flubber was in the theater at the time. Like, I said, "Please don't
101
fucking."
Dalmatians is the movie it
Yeah,
opened against. Yeah, and Jerry Maguire.
that was the first one, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Scream
Oh,
2.
the second one. I'm sorry. You're right. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, it was, I think it came out against, like, Flubber and Home Alone 3 and all that shit, if I remember correctly. But she was like, "Should I take you to one of those instead?" And I'm like, "No, Scream 2." So she took me to see it. So I was, like, the only child in that movie, but I'll never forget that. That was just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things I actually remember going see it to see it because I went with my sister and I don't think I would turn 17 yet. I don't remember if I was 15 or 16. I don't remember what year it came out off the top of my head. But I'd gone to see Beavis and Butthead to America a couple days before because that also came out against it. And nobody had seen Scream. Scream tanked.
Mhm.
It did terribly. But one guy that we knew had seen it and said we should go see it. So we went, and nobody else was in the fucking theater. It was like I don't remember. It was a early evening screening. They were getting ready to kick it out of the theater already because it had done terribly. Nobody else was there, and it was amazing. We left demanding everybody go see it, and that's how it worked. I think it ended up being a top 10 grossing film for 3 months
Yeah.
after that. But its first 2-3 weeks, like it should not have been a hit. It was a total fluke. I I just think it's a neat story because usually things come out and they do huge their first week and then it goes down from there. But they did the exact opposite. Their first week was one of the weakest they had during the whole run.
I feel like movies back in the '90s had, like, legs more than the movies nowadays, like, or unless theaters just gave them a more of a chance, like, wasn't
Yeah,
even
they
didn't
get more of a
Titanic
chance.
Didn't Titanic that didn't do it that great opening weekend either, but then that movie blew up, like, obviously, it was one of the highest grossing movies ever, but I remember that movie not doing, like, gangbusters the first weekend it came out.
Really, I remember. I mean, like not what it did, but I'd have to double check that. I don't actually remember. I remember Scream because I went and it should have been full. It was Christmas break. Nobody wanted to watch the other. Like everybody saw Beavis and Butthead the first weekend. So yeah, I just I just remember nobody being in the theater, and that's not the only one. What was it? When I saw Ringu and The Ring, it was like that. There was my group of 3 people, and there was another group of like 4 teenage girls who screamed once and then left in terror. But that went on to be huge. So I
Titanic
don't know.
made 28 million its opening weekend.
That's pretty fucking big for 1997.
Yeah, I guess that is pretty big.
Yeah.
It seems lower now, but I guess that is pretty big for
Yeah.
'97.
Like now, yeah, now that's not great, but I feel in 97 that was a lot of money.
But yeah, if Avatar opened up to 28 million right now, that movie would be, like, considered a tank, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just yeah.
well, yeah, because that movie also cost 300 million to make. They'd never be able to. Anyway, sorry, we digressed.
Mhm.
Uh oh, is that are you done?
Yeah,
Are we
yeah,
moving on?
that was
Okay.
me.
Okay, good. So that was a good time to digress. This week, we watched the 2018 American black horror anthology film Tales from the Hood 2, the 1970 American horror film inspired by a TV soap opera, House of Dark Shadows, the the 2011 Italian horror slasher splatter film Adam Chaplin, and the 1959 Japanese supernatural horror film Tokaido Yoshua. Shit, I fucked that up. I knew I would. Tokaido Yotsuya Kaidan, or The Ghost of Yotsuya. A Tyler,
Yes.
would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Craig's pick. I'm gonna go with Adam Chaplin, which is about a widower who summons a demon to avenge his wife's murder at the hands of an evil crime boss. I like Adam Chaplin a lot. Back when this came out, I was part of this YouTube horror community that was like big into the more extreme bro style of horror. You know what I mean? Like I'm so extreme. That kind of every that little community just loved extreme, and I was part of it. And this was passed around quite a bit. Like I fucking loved it back then, and I still really like it a lot now, even though it's pretty much just a splatter punk mishmash of like The Crow and Fist of the North Star. Yes, I have seen Fist of the North Star. It's one of the few animes I've watched by myself without being forced by somebody. I
No,
love
we
that
covered
movie.
it. You were
Did we?
totally forced to watch it. Yeah.
Oh shit, I thought I watched that on my own. Dude, my
I
memory
mean,
is so fucking
maybe
bad.
you have at some point, but we did watch it. We covered it
I'm pretty
four
I
years
have to
ago,
go back
maybe.
and I have to go back and listen to that episode, but I'm almost positive I watched it beforehand. Maybe I didn't. Maybe you guys did force me to watch that, but yeah, this is definitely like a mishmash of The Crow and Fist of the North Star. And I even see like little shades of like Ricky O in this and maybe a little Tokyo Gore Police as well. But the gore in this is amazing. I fucking love the gore in this movie. It's amazing what they could accomplish with working with so little. I love all just the wonderfully splattery goodness in this movie. Some of the acting is pretty awful, but that's kind of to be expected with movies like this. Most of the acting is pretty bad for the most part. And the middle does drag just a little, but I love its overly grungy aesthetic it has. It's stylish and super gory. Just a fun, dark, micro budget little revenge flick, which is sometimes just enough to keep me happy. Just it's a total love it or hate it kind of flick. I understand why someone wouldn't like this, but it's always worked for me. I don't love it quite as much as I did back in 2011 when it dropped, but I still really like it a lot.
May I go, Kevin?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. So I'm going to completely and totally fucking disagree with Tyler on every way, shape, or form on this one. I hate this movie. Do you know why? Kevin, do you want to guess?
I know why.
I mean, I
Tyler
have
knows
my
why.
reasons for hating it,
Yeah.
so I don't know if they're the
Well,
same or not. But
it
it
does.
starts at 50 and remains dull throughout.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, it's boring as fuck. I don't look. I try to be kind to indies, especially like no budget films from places outside of the US where they have even less of a no budget. But this one, yeah, I totally disagree with T. The gore is a shit. It is water with food coloring. It's not interesting, it's not visceral. It is just they got a super soaker and they blast it everywhere. Uh, they toss buckets of it, fine. And I don't mind if there's blood. Some of my favorite movies are crazy gore films that Tyler named earlier. I mean, I fucking love Ricky O and Fist of the North Star, but this doesn't do any of it well. The guy has one fucking move. This is part of the problem, and its biggest problem is writer, director, star Emmanuel DeSanti is shit. This dude should not be allowed near a camera, a typewriter, or an editing bay. He is atrocious, and he can't do fucking fights. I get it. You took a lot of fucking steroids for that physique, and you want to show it off, but it's not good, and you're not good with it. His one attack in every fight is the same fucking attack. He does the Kachu Tinsen Amaguriken or the chestnut roasting on an open fire fist from Ranma One Half. It's the only fucking move he has. Every fight is identical. Every scene between the fights is identical. It is so painfully boring. I get it. I get it. You jerked off to Ranma One Half, and while you were coming, it landed on a copy of Ricky O, and you went, I can do that. Well, here you go. You can't fucking do it. This movie is atrocious. It is better forgotten. It is better forgotten. And you know what? Italy, you can't no more independent movies from Italy until y'all fucking write an apology for this shit. This is incompetent, lazy trash.
Was that you already?
Oh yeah, that's me. I have nothing to say about this except it's incompetent, lazy trash, and no one should watch it. It should be forgotten.
Yeah,
I'll say that
I was
again.
hoping I was hoping you'd go longer because I also don't like I generously gave this a 5 out of 10 when I first watched it, and I could lower that easily. I don't know because the the actual blood and guts effects are well done throughout. They're covered up by some low lighting and closely cropped framing for the shots, but it's pretty good for that. But that's the only thing it has going for it, and it's one of those films again. It has no escalation because it starts with extreme gore and bloodshed, and then can only keep throwing that around on screen now and again because that's all it has. The story is shit. The main character is shit. The only good thing about him is that it kept reminding me of how much I'd like to rewatch any of the Hellboy movies because this this would actually be a decent Hellboy story if Hellboy was just possessed and on a rampage of revenge. And there may be a Hellboy story like that with some body popping up at his back and advising him. That would be good fun. That would be more fun than Adam Chaplin. I I don't think any of the performances are that good. The leads, as Dave said, he also co-wrote and co-directed, and no, just no good. Um, yeah, it's it's kind of admirable that they got this done with what they got done for the bloodshed, but there's nothing here to make it actually lively or interesting. So no. So Tyler's on his own in that one. It's a camp of one. One
I didn't
ticket
pick,
for
and
Tyler.
I didn't even pick it. So
I
hey,
know. You picked Tales from the Hood too, Tyler.
I did.
Yes. And this is your time to smile. I really like Tales from the Hood too. I think it's a much better film than the first film, and I'm pretty sure that's not an opinion shared by many. But I will defend my position and tell you guys why. So, as you know, I was being a little bit sort of coy last week and not wanting to rain on your parade and not wanting to be the absolute grump, but I've just never warmed to Tales from the Hood. This film kind of gives me everything I would have wanted from a film called Tales from the Hood. And yeah, like I pretty much had a blast with it all the way through. Now, Rusty Cundiff uh, doesn't direct every segment here, if I remember right, because Darren Scott is also credited. I think he did a couple of segments, or maybe it was
Yeah,
about half and half. But I I just think they're all really good. The fact that Keith David is the main storyteller this time around is a good choice. We still miss I forget his name from Tales from the Hood. Is it Clarence Williams?
yeah.
Yeah. He is missed, but Keith David it's, has a hell of a voice, and he's rocking that. I mean, the clothes he has in this, that suit is just gorgeous. Like I wasn't sure if I wanted to be Keith David or if I wanted to be the suit that he was wearing. It's like that's just damn fine. Um, the the framing storyline is great, and I want to get back to that in a minute. It starts off with something really silly, and I'll use the story titles here if I may. And I feel I can use this title because it is the iconography that's being played with in the segment, and also part of this was a nickname given to me at school for many years. So story one is called Good Golly, and these women end up at a place called Museum of Negrosity. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not
Yeah.
going to spend too much time mulling it over. And basically, they end up looking for a well, something that they want to take away as a souvenir. The main thing would be a little, I've got to say, golly, and it's yeah, it's them being quite obviously ignorant of all of the history and attachments to the stuff that they are looking around and being quite flippant about, and hijinks ensue in a really, really mad way. And I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. Then, in between the next wraparound section, you get the medium. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on the medium, but that was also a lot of fun. I was wondering whether the main guy in this was dubbed or whether he was putting on an accent, so I wasn't quite sure about that. But it was still, I mean, it was a fun time. Then back to wraparound, and then it goes to date night, which is a bit tired and too predictable, but still, it was it was a pretty quick tale and good. And then it got to a tale called The Sacrifice, and in this you get a few historical figures featured now and again, and one of them is Emmett Till. Now, I only know really of Emmett Till now because of reading the background of it when the film came out. I want to say a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now. And that's my ignorance, and also because it's not necessarily something that we would be taught about so much here in the UK, as opposed to maybe in America when you were allowed to learn those parts of history. But now I know the story. It's it's a terrible story, a terrible injustice. I recommend the film Till. So I was familiar with this character, and this tale I can understand if people view this and think it's something that leaves them a bit ill at ease with how uh, historical figures are used and what is being done for the sake of a horror anthology tale. But I really liked it, and I don't think it sticks a landing. But I think it is a good message that is giving there, just about where you are today because of what else has happened throughout history, and what others have done, you know, um, consciously or subconsciously being sacrificed throughout the years, for for rights, for equality, for just fighting against oppression. I really liked it. It wasn't one of the fun tales. It may seem a little bit out of sorts compared to the rest of the film, but I was impressed, and yeah, and it made me think about that moral it was selling. And then you go back to finale of the framework, which I really enjoyed. And the thing about the framework is there's something there called the Robo Patriot that's been created, and it's just a little touch, but even the fact that when that thing fires its lasers, it's firing red, white, and blue lasers, and that just made me laugh. It made me laugh, but it also made me think, Like, I hope Trump never watches this because he would be paying people to start creating the Robo Patriots straight away. That's something like it used to seem like a ridiculous fiction, and now you're like, oh Jesus, that's just around the corner, isn't it, for all of us? So yeah, I really had a lot of fun with this. I think the cast were a little bit uneven, but every so often, you're going back to Keith David, so happy days. And I just think the mix of tales this time around was, generally way more fun. Or the one tale that wasn't necessarily, just trying to be fun was really well done for me. And as I say, I can see why others might be uncomfortable with it, or just not find that a good part of the film. But it all worked for me, so I was really pleasantly surprised, Tyler. I thought I was going to have to just grumble my way through this, and then wait for the inevitable day when you make us watch the third installment. But I may seek out the third installment sooner now.
Nice.
Uh, I I liked it. I had not seen 2 before. I've seen 3 though because COVID was weird, and I think 3 aired on TV originally. I think Sci-Fi played it a few times back while everybody was locked down and just staring at their TVs, unable to go anywhere. Uh, but I really like 2. While definitely miss uh Clarence Williams III. You can't go wrong with Keith David stepping in. Ever. Keith David is fantastic, and he's great in this. It's obviously it is obviously cheaper made and quicker made. The cast isn't as strong. David is great. I enjoy it, but he's dubbed through most of it. Brian Batt, who plays the psychic in the second,
All right,
no,
yeah.
the second story is solid. But again, he's mostly dubbed. Actually, I'd say that all of the cast of the second story is probably overall the strongest. Uh, they're fun in their roles, and none of them are overtly terrible. Um, uh, Good golly, it's something. It goes play, and that's why I like this one. I'm not gonna say it's better than 1. I will say that they're probably okay. I won't say it's overall better than 1, but I agree with Kevin that the stories are generally stronger. They don't hold their punches, man. That first story comes out swinging, and it swings all the way it can go, Yeah. All the way it can, straight to the ending. Uh, it does things. That's all I got to say. I like the medium is a lot of fun, and it's just a fun one. Date night, I think, does not work. I get what they're going for. It's the weakest of the 4 by far. I mean, by a long shot. I will say that Alexandra Ponce and Kat Limette are gorgeous, but that's about the only nice thing I can say about it. The 2 guys we're stuck dealing with are not only are they not good, they're not fun. Even before they do vile, awful things, they're just creepy and yay, it just it's fine. It doesn't work for me. The sacrifices, I actually think it's a strong story and it does it well. It's very it is the most reminiscent segment of old school Twilight Zone I can think of for any recent again any recent anthology. It just feels like it is lifted out of an old Twilight Zone, and its feel and its earnestness and all of it. I still laughed during it, even though it's the heaviest by far, but it's a good one, and I adored the wraparound. The wraparound is so great. I think the only thing that might drag this down uh from being my favorite in the franchise is they don't give Keith David the full devil makeup, unlike Clarence Williams III got at the end. But he doesn't need it. He's fucking Keith David. But I really enjoyed this one. This was a solid all around pick, T.
Nice. First off, let me start with this. As you guys heard last week, I am a huge fan of the first Tales from the Hood. I think it's legit one of the best horror movies of the '90s. I fucking love Tales from the Hood. I can't express that enough. Um, I don't put two on the same level as that 1995 original, but with all that said, I still absolutely adore this movie as an anthology made from the same guys that made the first movie. I feel like this one takes a more humorous approach with the stories, but at the same time, they can still have that brutal, just gut punching social commentary that's just as strong as it was in the first movie. There's one story in particular, which you guys have mentioned, the sacrifice, that I feel like would have fit better with the original movie than it does here, though, because the original movie didn't have as much humor, if that makes sense. Um, the the sacrifice is brutal in the way that would fit with the last story of the first movie. And the Emmett Till story is just a gut wrenching, disgusting moment in history anyway. So that taking that story would just fit better with the original. But it's still the sacrifices. I thought it was fantastic. It's a great story. Um, Date night. The two leads are sexual predators, but I feel like it still didn't have the tone of the sacrifice. But yeah, I think the sacrifice is fantastic. It's just I feel like it would fit better with the original 1995 movie. I just do. Keith David is a lot of fun though. I mean, he is having a fucking blast, and it shows through every frame. If you're gonna get anyone to replace Clarence Williams III, Keith David is it. He's great, and I'm with Kevin. That jacket is the fucking bomb. That thing is just amazing. Um, I really like all the stories though. Like I really like every one of them. I love the first one. Good Golly is just wonderful. That is just a wonderful way to start a Tales from the Hood movie. It's so fucking good. Um, and I feel like the Robo Patriot wraparound is just super topical for what's going on in the world right now. I mean, more than it was in 2018. Like that ending when I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I feel like it's just so topical now than it was when this movie came out. But this is a solid sequel, just really super solid. Probably one of the best direct-to-video sequels out there, in my honest opinion. I would watch 100 of these if they were made by Rusty Cundiff and Darren Scott because they aren't afraid to take big swings and they fucking go for it. I love them. Like I said, I would watch 40 more of these movies right now if they were made by these two guys. So, yeah, Tales from the Hood is great. One of the best direct-to-video sequels out there.
I'm going to step in here. I'm not going to make Tyler go double dip. So, Kevin's pick was uh, Tokaido Yotsuya Kaidan, The Ghost of Yostuya, which is a 1959 supernatural horror directed by Nobou Nakagawa. Nakagawa directed, God, an absolute ton of films. I think he has, not counting a handful of TV gigs. I think he has 101, 102 films. But he's best known for exactly 8 horror movies he made in the 50s and 60s, 1950s and 1960s. Probably the best known is the one that came after this, uh, Jigoku, or Sinners of Hell, which is nightmarish as all fucking get out. But I digress. Tokaido Yotsuya Kaidan is about a ruthless ronin named Iemon Tamiya who wants to marry Oiwa. Iemon waits to ambush her father to beg him to allow him to marry the girl, but in a fit of anger, he instead murders Dad and Dad's buddy and then drags the girl, her sister, and the servant that witnessed his crime around the countryside for 6 months to a year, pretending to look for the killer. Jump forward 2 years, and he's married to Iwa, and they have a young son. But not satisfied, Iman makes eyes at a local samurai's daughter to gain advantage and position. But in order to do that, he first has to get rid of his wife. And what unfolds is an onryo style good old Japanese haunting. This movie is great. It's well shot, it's well acted, the screenplay is really good. It always works. It's called Ghost of Yostuya because that's where it takes place. It's in okay. So when I say Edo, I don't mean the Edo period. What I mean is the former name of Tokyo, which Edo then became Jedo, and then Yedo, and now Tokyo. It's the neighborhood that Yotsuya is the neighborhood that most of the action is set in. In case you were wondering, weren't you? Anyway, it's a classic. It's long. It started in the, I think, 1820s as a play, a kabuki play. It's been adapted like 34 times. So it's one that stands up. The story at its heart stands up, and this is a fantastic version of it. There's some nice hallucinatory bits. The cast is really good. It doesn't go into the full madness of Jigoku, but Shigeru Amachi is Iemon. He's excellent. Junko Ikiuchi is the sister. No, is the second wife, Umi. She's really good, but given very little. Ketsuo Wakasugi is Oiwa, and she's great. And also Jun Omoto, who is Tekutsu, the trader who is also a ghost, is really strong. It's a good one. It was made for no money and in no time, and they delivered a really solid adaptation of a classic tale. I don't have a lot to say about it, which is kind of a problem. Like I didn't, unlike Adam Chaplin, where I had nothing good to say. I have a lot good to say, but it's just kind of I don't want to comment on it directly because I realized while talking that this is probably not as well seen here and in the in the US and the UK as it should be. It is a classic of J horror, and it doesn't. It should be up there with Jigoku and Kaidan as an exemplar to talk about and to watch for these early Japanese ghost stories. It's a good one, and it's got a long uh, legacy. It's excellent. That's like I'm just gonna repeat that, so I'm gonna step aside.
Well, now I feel kind of bad because Kevin really liked my pick. I did not love this one. Now, I did not hate this one either. There's nothing in here that's even remotely hateable. I just couldn't get into this one as much as I hoped. This one kind of felt like three different movies in one. There's like a domestic drama in there about a really shitty husband and then a murder plot involving a love triangle. Then it finally turns into a horror movie for its third act. It's gorgeously shot. Like I can't agree with that more. I mean, this movie looks fucking incredible. Just gorgeous. But anything that wasn't the cinematography, I was struggling. Like, which again, I can't express how great this movie looks visually. I just found the movie itself, the story, kind of ponderous and slow. Nothing was grabbing me in those first two acts. And by the time the third act does kick in, which was the best part for me. Like I really did like the third act of this movie. I just felt like it was almost too little, too late, and the climax just felt really short. Like I just wanted more when it ended. This is a really short movie too. Like this was what, barely 80 minutes. It's super super short, which is fine. Short movies are good. It's just I wanted more when the movie ended. Um, like I said, but don't get me wrong. There is a lot of good stuff in this movie, a lot, and I just wish it grabbed me as much as the ghost stuff did in its final act. Beautiful to look at, but a bit boring just for me personally.
You son of a bitch, Tyler.
You know, it's actually funny. You know, it's something that they cut from this version that it's in the play, and it's in a lot of more recent versions. Is forcing the sister into prostitution. So the thing that would have made it so much more tea is what they cut.
God damn it! Yeah, I would have.
Yeah, sorry.
I sat down in the cinema room and thought I've got to break into my Die Gothic box set, and that is what I did. And as I was watching the Ghost of Yostuya, I just felt I felt comforted. I felt that it was just quality throughout. And then, I mean, it does take, as Tyler was saying, and it is a short film, but I think it also is effective when you get to the end, when you get to the not just the point of it, but yeah, the main, the title is Ghost of Yostuya. You want some ghostliness that happens towards the end, and I like how it was done. Um, it, I also though don't have too much to say about it, but unlike T, I I just liked how everything was being developed in terms of the plot strands and this real almost soap opera playing out with a husband and wife who aren't in the best place in their marriage, and she keeps trying hard to please him and to sort of act how everything should be, whereas he's very much less considerate, has his grievances that he carries about with him. But what I find interesting about this though is, like, Iemon has grievances, and you think he has a chip on his shoulder, and you think he's maybe overstating the case about his hardships and how people are getting their way through life. And you find out he's got a point. Like, he's job hunting, and people are asking him about job hunting, and he says something at one point about how you have to bribe your way to a position or know people, and you're watching a film thinking he'd really rather just go to the lake every day and fish. He's kind of okay with his life as it is, but when he does get an interview opportunity and goes along, you you hear an exchange after he's left that has that person going about, the better bribe he will be offered by someone else to give him a position. So there's legitimacy there at the core of his belief system. And then there are moments where he looks as if he might be trying to turn a corner slightly and be a bit better to his wife as she deserves. And when the third act all plays out, he's certainly not a blameless individual, but he didn't get turned into the sort of big, grinning, wide eyed villain that I thought he would be. It's actually one or two others that are worse people. Uh, I think, in terms of their direct actions and their plotting and scheming. And I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be very much, here's this innocent woman who will end up being wronged, and here is this big bad man opposite her who is causing all this. Now he is a big sort of source of her unhappiness, and he's. I'm definitely not defending his actions or how he is at all with his wife. I would just say that he's. I was surprised to find he wasn't actually the main contributing factor to how things play out in the third act. Not directly, not from his, orders or any chain of events that he's looking to set off. It's people around that start to try and plan and maneuver the main characters about. So that was, that it was very traditional. It is a tale that will be familiar to many, but I was pleasantly surprised that everyone wasn't necessarily pigeonholed as just absolutely, a black hat or a white hat, to use the old Western terms. And hey, neither of you really hated it, even Tyler. So that's a bonus. Now, Dave gave us House of Dark Shadows, and I was going to be quite the japester and just go on about the Tim Burton film anyway, so I could mention Johnny Depp and hear his rage vein throbbing, go on about the God, I've gone blank on her name, Chloe Grace Moretz, and her shenanigans on screen. I just almost have the rage vein popping through our chat here. That's right, Dave. I didn't watch Dark Shadows. I did respect your wishes.
Hi, puppy. I'm not plotting to hurt Kevin. It's okay. You don't have to check on me. You can go lay down. It's okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now,
What was that?
correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, and I very well could be wrong. Dark Shadows, when it launched in America, were the first few episodes, was it seemingly quite a normal, everyday soap opera?
No.
And
I
then the
mean, it was
supernatural
still
elements came in.
no. It always had supernatural elements. It just didn't have the
Right.
vampire until episode 203, I think.
203, okay. It
Yeah,
was
I
all
remember it's
supernatural.
a soap opera, so there was an episode every day for Monday through Friday. So
Yeah. I've I've never watched any Dark Shadows. I've always been jealous of the fact that you guys, at some point over the years, I think it's just a wonderful development that instead of just everyday soap operas, you also had this supernatural, not even tinged, just this supernatural soap opera that then had the main vampire figure or figures in it. I think it's great. But as far as I'm aware, it never really sort of got pushed over here. Not in the UK anyway, not to my knowledge. I've seen some seasons now available on Prime Video, but I've never dived in because there is so much to get through. I have a passing knowledge of it nowadays. So House of Dark Shadows is not for me. I think I would have rather, if I could have had that choice in my life, been someone who tuned into Dark Shadows and got caught up in it and enjoyed it as a series that I stuck with. Watching it as a was this a theatrical release or a TV movie? I suspect it's still TV movie for
No,
House
this
of
was a
Dark
theatrical
Shadows.
release.
Was it?
100% theatrical release, yes.
Wow. It just, well, it didn't feel opened up. It felt like it was for people who were already familiar with it, but you do sort of get the gist of things quite early on about where this is going. But yeah, it doesn't. I just don't think it works that well as a film compared to how I could imagine it appealing as a soap opera, and a drama in chapters that you keep checking in with and keep seeing these people and keep going through stuff, and you can have some episodes that get wilder and other episodes that calm things down again. I I don't know, this didn't sit well with me in terms of the just the way it was trying to mix in the ideas and the way it was trying to almost build to something that sort of fell flat at the end for me. It just didn't work at all. Whereas if this had been the middle installment of something or a setup, I could see it working more like that. I quite like Jonathan Frid as Barnabas Collins. He's pretty good, and I'm assuming he did the role in the show for a while. Did he?
All the cast
Is he
is
the
the
main
show
Collins?
cast.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. Well, he's the one that sort of wins in terms of having that presence, and you can imagine, him being the star of the show. So I did like him, and I didn't hate the thing, but as I say, it just would have worked for me better, I think, as part of like even a mini series or some kind of 2 or 3 parter. It just didn't work for me as it is in this form.
I never really watched a lot of Dark Shadows. My mom used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, so every once in a while I'd like pop in and watch an episode or two here and there. It at the time it always just felt like Days of Our Lives with Fangs, which is what it was at the time. And the movie is pretty much just that too. I mean, still just as soapy and melodramatic as the show, but it does feel a bit more cinematic, which is good. Um, I was kind of surprised that it's basically just a condensed retelling of the first Barnabas Collins storyline from the soap, which is perfect for the folks who didn't watch a ton of the original Dark Shadow show. So that kind of works perfect just to have a kind of like a little cinematic reboot of what the show was. It's got a great gothic atmosphere, though. I mean, It's a bit darker. It's a bit bloodier. Slow pace, sure, but at the same time, I feel like the story moved super quick. Jonathan Frid is just wonderful as Barnabas Collins. He's great. And I actually really love the camera work in this too. I mean, there's a ton of like super stylized handheld stuff, which also really surprised me. I really like the camera work in this. But yeah, I like this a lot. It kind of makes me want to go back and try the show again. Although, my God, that would be a fucking hike because there's probably what 400 episodes of this motherfucker. But
Oh, more than
maybe,
that.
yeah.
More than that.
How long did the original series go for?
About a decade.
Okay, so
Maybe
that's
not
yeah.
quite. And remember, there was an episode every day for that time. Uh, okay, it's actually less than I thought. It was 7 years, and there are 1,225 episodes.
Okay, yeah, that means I'll never watch the original Dark Shadows,
No,
the whole
there
thing.
is
Maybe a
there is a
couple.
set actually that I have that they released for the whateverth anniversary in 2021.
Hmm.
Uh, that has it's just the original Barnabas arc over
Okay.
like two two DVDs.
See that I would be interested in. Like the episodes that I have seen, did involve Barnabas Collins. I didn't really see anything that didn't, so I would probably like the Barnabas Collins stuff more than just the normal soap stuff. So, but yeah, I would be down to watch that. But I remember the one thing I do remember is that they always because it is a soap opera and they had to crank these things out every day. They always left like the bloopers and like the flubs in there or the boom mics, and you can kind of see the bloopers in the show, which is always fun. There's like YouTube compilations of that kind of stuff. It's a blast to go back and watch. But soap opera filmmaking is insane. It's amazing how they did that shit. But yeah, I really like this movie. It was really good.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. It's the 50th anniversary collector's edition. It's like $13 out there in the world, and it covers the first Barnabas arc, and I think that there's like 20 more episodes of just like their top ones or whatever. The so yeah, if you're curious, that's worth looking up. It's pretty common. I think it occasionally pops up in Walmart and on Amazon. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, I was done.
All right. Yeah, I figured. I'm just saying. I love Dark Shadows and I love House of Dark Shadows. I agree with T. Jonathan Freed is excellent. Barnabas Collins is a solid vampire character. He plays it really well. I really enjoy Grayson Hall as Dr. Julia Hoffman. They tragically don't get as much time to interact as they should. They are fantastic together on the series. It is the show condensed and made more violent and over the top, but uh, the cast is good. The story is fun. I think it's a tight little vampire film, Ex- even if you haven't seen it before. And I think the problem is Kevin knew it was a TV show, so he went in with that mindset and didn't go along with it because I think it retells the story in a nice condensed fashion. This was made towards the end of the show's run, and the show went from being a massively popular success to being canceled. It lost like 2 million viewers in like 2 months. The writers kind of hit a really, let's say the last year of Dark Shadows is not a good time for television or anything really. They kind of ran out of steam and kept doing weird time travel shit. I mean, they did a lot of time travel shit towards the end. And they turned off audiences, so they went off, and then they made the movie, and the movie did really well. I mean, apparently, and 1970, what it was 71 money, 1970 money. It made about 2 or 3 million, and it was made for 500K or so. So it did well enough. They made a sequel, but the sequel started production after the show had been canceled, so they couldn't get Freed to come back, even though they do have a little teaser at the end of this one. So they did a new story instead, which it did not. I haven't seen it actually. It's really rare to find the second one. Uh, Night of Dark Shadows. Like it pops up occasionally on streaming services, but it's usually not like the best print. And it doesn't. I don't think anybody else except for 2 or 3 actual TV actors show up, and they all play new characters in the second film. But that's a sidetrack. I like it. I think the cast is good. I think the story is solid. I do think the ending is a little weak, mostly because Roger Davis as Jeff Clark is not. He's not a good. He's just not a good lead for this. He's kind of dull. And he's not really a character until the last 5-10 minutes when somebody has to play the hero. So I think it could have been a little bit better, but I think overall it's solid. Thayer David is Professor Elliot Stokes. He's really good. John Carlin is Willie Loomis. I don't know what he is in this one. Sometimes he's a writer, sometimes he's a caretaker in the series. But he's the guy that discovers the vampire and unleashes him. Nancy Barrett is Carolyn Stoddard, and completely and totally wasted in this. I think she has maybe 2 lines. She's Catherine Lee Scott is Maggie Evans. She's fine. The object of the vampire's lust. And the rest of the cast, the rest of the main cast, because there's also a lot of newer people thrown in, are good. Like they know their characters. They've done this story before. They're showing up. They're getting it done. It's a good one. I'm a fan, even if Kevin is not. Joan Bennett is ridiculously underused. She's also excellent. She's who I was confusing Nancy Barrett for earlier. Sorry. But Barrett's fine also. But Bennett is great and good in her role, but they totally misuse her. It's a nice looking film. There's some really nice locations. I think the abandoned pool / greenhouse is fantastic. I'm a fan, and this has been on my list to show you guys for a long time. I'm sorry I didn't click for Kevin, but I like it, and I think it's worth digging out. So it's time to pick one, guys.
I'm going to go full Tyler this week and vote for my own pick, I'm afraid.
T?
Yeah, I'm gonna go full me and go Tales from the Hood too.
Oh man, this is tough. I want to go full me and pick Dark Shadows, but I'm not going to do that. I do love Dark Shadows, and I think Night of Dark Shadows is fantastic. And I think you should look up the show if you haven't seen it. I remember coming in every day in the 90s. It used to air on Sci-Fi Channel as I got home from school as a teenager. I think I watched the whole series like 3 times. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm never going to forgive Tim Burton for that shitty movie he made in 2012? 2008, somewhere in there. No fucking forgiveness. But I am actually going to I'm going to go with Tyler this week. I'm going to go with Tales from the Hood too. Don't get me wrong. I think all except for Adam Chaplin are worth watching. It's just Tales from the Hood 2 is just a little bit more topical and a little bit more of a defiant fuck you to certain people in the world this week. But you should definitely watch. You should definitely watch The Ghost of Yotsuya, which you can find on Criterion here in the States. You can find Night of Dark Shadows actually on Archive. And you can find Tales from the Hood 2 on I've totally brain farted. You can find that. I think you can find that anywhere to rent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna make sure because I had like an actual service for all the others. I need to have one for Tales from the Hood too, right? I mean, assuming it is streaming somewhere. It's not. Shit. Okay, you're gonna have to rent it. Oh, it's on Tubi, so you can watch it on Tubi or the profit arm of Fox News, Tubi. It's up to you, but that is ironic. So ironic. Next
Get it?
week, we're going to extend October all the way up till the last possible moment, and we're going to cap our month off with slasher films that didn't lead to franchises. I'm going to have us watch Tourist Trap.
Nice.
What do you got for us, Kevin?
I'm going to have us watch Jose Ramon Laraz's 1990 Deadly Manor.
I'm not picking what I originally told you guys because I feel like we didn't watch nearly enough movies involving sex workers this month. So we're watching a movie about a killer clown knocking off phone sex workers one by one. We're watching Out of the Dark from 1989.
Oh, okay.
And that stars Karen Black and Divine, which is just awesome.
Well, then, shit. Oh, God, Deadly Manor. I've seen Deadly Manor. Have you seen Deadly Manor, Kevin?
No, I've seen Edge of the Axe. I have the sort of Laraz set. I think Deadly Manor's in it, and Edge of the Axe might have been separate.
Nice. To make Tyler really happy, sometimes Deadly Manor is called Savage Lust.
Ooh, I like that title.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew you'd like that title.
I like Edge of the Axe too. That's a really good one. I really enjoyed
Yeah,
that one.
Edge of the Axe is good. I was just wondering if Kevin had seen it before because they're the last two. I think they're the last two Jose Ramon Loraz pictures. He had done stuff before them, and I don't remember the order.
We're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and comment and watch Kevin's totally awesome videos. We have a Discord, we have a Blue Sky, and you can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
As always, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys. I will talk to you next week.
yeah.
Yeah.